Okay, guys and gals, boys and girls, I am ready to make the sausage. So, we'll go over with you what our ingredients are. Now, this is for 2 pounds that I've got measured out here, but I'm going to read you the ingredients for 1 pound. Now, I prefer doing this stuff from fresh ingredients instead of buying a seasoning pack offline. We'll probably have to play with this recipe to get it where we want it to be, but we're going to find out what we think about it. So, the ingredient packs you online, you can't control the sodium. So, and a lot of them have MSGs in them. Some of the stuff is bioengineered. I just soon make my own. So anyway, for a pound of sausage, now we're working of chicken. This will work for pork. The chicken, I think this would be a great recipe just for pork. But the chicken, I may have to add a little bit to make it up to my standards. And but we're going to do 1 3/4 teaspoons of crushed sage. So crushed ground sage. Crushed is going to, if you use fully ground sage, it'll take a little bit less of it. 1 teaspoon of thyme, 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm using a pink Himalayan. 2 teaspoons of brown sugar. 3/4 teaspoon of black pepper powder. 1/4 teaspoon of pepper flakes. Whatever makes you happy. We're using, today, we're using just a red pepper flake. So it's going to have virtually no heat. If I make a hot batch, I'll do whatever I want to with it. And 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper powder. So that'll add a little bit of spice to it. And then we're doing 1/4 teaspoon of chipotle pepper flakes. So the chipotle will add a little bit of smokiness to it and a little bit of heat. So, all right. And so here's, I don't know if I showed you, that's the sage and the brown sugar. And then the other plate had all the other seasoning. So as you can see, it's not a lot of seasoning. Now, let me grab one more thing. Okay, so we're adding the seasoning. Oh, and I also added, it's not necessary, but it'll probably make it cook a little better. Since this is going to be breakfast sausage, I added some pork fat to this. About 20% by weight of the pork fat. So I've got my seasoning in this, and the pork fat was frozen, so I'm hoping that it'll grind up pretty good. Cut it into small pieces. I forgot to lay it out this morning. So right now, I'm just getting nice and dirty in here, mixing this seasoning in. Boy, it smells good. Now the grinder will help mix this seasoning in even more. But I want to get it in there pretty good. And I'm going to run this through the grinder twice. We'll run it through once on the thick plate, and then we're going to go back and run it through on the small plate. Now guys, I'm not using no hair aprons or beard aprons because this is for us. If I thought I was going to have a problem, I would. So, the little meatball size clumps work good in this one. If you've got a bigger processor, you might do something a little bigger. But this works for us on this one. Bigger grinder would do all this faster. So if you had 2 people working, which normally we do, Tiffany's out right now, but if you got 2 people working, the bigger grinder would definitely process this much faster. I went with way too big of a piece on that, but we'll make it work. Looking forward to trying this. Haven't had breakfast this morning. I had a banana, and that was intentional. It's not morning no more, but my intentions was to fry up some of this and see how I do. We'll see. If you don't got pork fat, don't worry about it. These chickens had a little bit of fat on them because we didn't process them quick enough. I think they would have been fine. But the pork fat will just add a nice flavor to it. And remember, with this KitchenAid, meatball sized pieces work good on the sausage. On the chicken, I did longer pieces that were narrower so that they could pull through. Wide pieces wouldn't have worked. But on this, obviously, we're not doing long pieces. So, turn this up a little bit, see if it'll work a little better. Now that we already got ground meat. And all I'm trying to do here is every couple of handfuls get a piece of that pork fat to put in here. Now you can blend your sausage too. If you want a chicken and pork sausage, you can do that. Maybe you raise hogs on your farm and you want to make the sausage a little healthier. Blend some chicken with it. We raise chickens, so looking at raising hogs, we're looking at Kune Kunes. If you've got any experience of Kune Kunes, comment below and tell us about them. But we're thinking about that being our next step in homesteading, taking our homesteading journey to the next level. We would like to be 90% self-sufficient one day. God, this is starving me watching this. See, we wouldn't want to be doing a whole lot of this during growing season because we wouldn't have time. But if we get everything timed right and we bring a meat bird batch in during the fall and winter, it's going to make our life better. Because we can process this stuff, put it up in the freezer, and then eat on it until next season. And if we was to run out, we can make another small batch. Now, obviously, 5 pounds ain't going to cut it for us. This is just a test batch. Because I don't know what this is going to taste like. I don't know what I've got here. This is, I looked at some recipes online. And then changed them to how I thought that I would like them to be. So this has a little more pepper in it and a little bit more sage than a regular recipe because I like to taste that sage. Okay, so now what we're going to do is run it back through, and I won't bore you with all that, but we're going to run it back through. But we're going to run it back through with the small die. So let's get all this meat off here. Don't want to waste any of it. We're going to get our small die, laid it over here to the side, kept it close. If you got a fancier setup, you may have multiple sizes. I don't. We have 2. And I think this small one is going to be the right size for the texture you want your breakfast sausage to be. Depends on you. Be nothing wrong with leaving it the other way. So I'm going to swap bowls. I'm going to put my big bowl back under it. And this will do a couple of things. This will mix it some more to get that fat mixed in there real good. And it'll get us down to a smaller consistency coming out of here. Now if you had a helper, your helper could be making you meatball sized pieces to put in here. Of course, I guess it depends upon what your meatballs are. How about my meatballs? Which are basically 50-cent piece, silver dollar size. Turn this up another notch, guys. I don't think it's feeding fast enough. We don't want to overheat our meat, but I think we can definitely feed this faster. I'm going to slow it back down a little bit. I don't like that. It's looking good. Really happy with this. I'm going to bring y'all back in a minute. Okay, it is ready. We have 2.5 pounds of ground sausage here, ready to work with. Here we go. Cast iron skillet warming up, about ready to go. Okay, guys. Finished product. Looks good. See how it tastes. I like that. Oh, I like it a lot. I think I'm going to get another bite. Oh. Oh, that's good. Spice is just right. Oh man, that's good. Oh. Try this recipe, folks. Share this with your friends. I like this. Oh, so good. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Till next time.